3 Sri Lankans held hostage by Oromo terrorists in Ethiopia rescued. 3 Sri Lankan citizens who were reportedly abducted shortly after arriving in Ethiopia have been rescued safely following a multi-agency security operation that led to the arrest of 6 suspects. The 3 men had traveled to the country in late May in search of employment opportunities. Shortly after their arrival, they were allegedly taken against their will and held at a separate location while their captors demanded a substantial ransom for their release. Authorities launched an investigation after the disappearance of the individuals was brought to the attention of local police by the Sri Lankan Embassy. The case prompted a coordinated response involving several Ethiopian security and intelligence agencies. Investigators utilized digital tracking and intelligence gathering techniques to trace the whereabouts of the victims, eventually locating them at a residence in the town of Shashemene in the Oromia region. Security personnel subsequently carried out a raid on the property, successfully securing the release of all 3 hostages without reported injuries. 6 individuals were taken into custody during the operation. Those arrested include 2 Oromos and 4 Pakistani citizens who are suspected of involvement in the abduction and ransom scheme. Authorities allege that the group had demanded approximately $90,000 in exchange for the victims' freedom. Reports indicate that the Sri Lankans were allegedly transported from the airport shortly after landing and held in captivity until law enforcement officers intervened. Investigators are continuing to examine the circumstances surrounding the incident, including the recruitment arrangements that brought the victims to Ethiopia. The rescue operation was carried out through the combined efforts of national intelligence services, federal law enforcement agencies, cybersecurity specialists, and regional police units. The Sri Lankan Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the 3 individuals were released following a joint operation conducted by Sri Lankan and Ethiopian authorities. Arrangements are currently being made to repatriate them to Sri Lanka. According to the ministry, the victims, who are residents of Jaffna, had traveled through Ethiopia while attempting to reach Canada through illegal migration channels. The 3 had reportedly informed their relatives that they were being held captive by a criminal gang in Ethiopia, which had demanded a ransom in exchange for their release. The victims had arrived in Ethiopia on May 23 for work opportunities before being taken directly from the airport in a Suzuki vehicle with a Code 2 license plate. The investigation began on May 26, 2026, after the Sri Lankan Embassy reported the disappearance of the 3 individuals to the Bol Subsidy Police Department. In Ethiopia's illegal Oromia region, Christian communities, particularly followers of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, have faced recurring incidents of targeted violence, kidnappings, and massacres. These attacks, largely attributed by rights groups and local church authorities to the regime-affiliated Oromo Liberation Army, OLA, or other unidentified armed Oromo jihadists, have resulted in dozens of abductions, displacements, and casualties. Recent notable incidents and targeted areas include RC Zone. This area has been a major flashpoint. Armed jihadist groups have repeatedly abducted and killed Orthodox Christians, burnt historic churches, and displaced thousands of residents. Just last week, on May 30, 2026, 53 Orthodox Christians were massacred by Oromo jihadists. The 101-year-old St. Gabriel Church in the Asko district was torched. 280 houses of Orthodox Christians were burned. The Oromo jihadists also looted properties and livestock of the victims. North Shua Zone, over 56 passengers were abducted from a public transit bus en route from Addis Ababa to Debre Marcos, in an attack that also left multiple people dead. Zakwala Monastery. Armed militants raided the Zakwala Abungevra Menfis Kaitis Monastery in the East Shua Zone, kidnapping and subsequently killing 4 priests, while injuring another. While some local congregations have established community defense and neighborhood watch programs, both Ethiopian Orthodox leadership and Catholic bishops have continuously appealed in vain for government intervention to restore law and order. In late 2019, 17 to 27 university students fleeing ethnic violence at Dembi Dolo University in western Oromia, Ethiopia, were abducted by armed Oromo men while traveling to Addis Ababa. The exact fates and whereabouts of a significant number of the students still remain unresolved. But the whereabouts of the Sri Lankan citizens was traced effectively within 3 days of their alleged abduction.